Hello, everyone, and welcome to Everything Under the Moon. I am your host, Becky Gydesen, and tonight I do have a co-host, and that is my historian, Kira. Hi, Kira. How are you doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing good, Becky. How are you tonight?
It's a little hard for me tonight. I have a very bad stiff neck. And so if you see me moving weirdly tonight, it's just because of my stiff neck. It's been stiff all day. I've been dealing with it. It's a pain in the butt. That's what happens when you get old, I guess. But tonight I do have a special announcement. I am dedicating tonight's show to my mother. She passed away a year ago tomorrow. So I wanted to do a dedication to my mom, Beverly McKitty. She's been gone for a year, so I'm thinking about her a lot. So this show's dedicated to her tonight. And we also have a special guest tonight. Her name is Nicole. How are you doing, Nicole?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, and condolences to your mom's passing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but thank you so much for having me tonight.
Yeah. So for our audience, Nicole, we always like to start the show with you introducing yourself, where you're originally from, and where you live, and what you do.
Sure. So I actually was born in Huntington Beach, California. I'm in San Diego now, so I've pretty much resided here the majority of my life. Lived in Las Vegas for a little bit as well. And then college, I went to the University of Arizona. So I lived in Tucson for a few years. A great town out there. Miss it actually, even though I'm from San Diego. Let's see. I have been interested in the paranormal and unknown since childhood. I actually like to tell people that it's like an innate curiosity that I've had since childhood. So I've had a lot of experiences growing up and have had that interest. So I would pretty much read or watch anything I could on the paranormal, ghosts, haunted locations, you name it. And then after a very profound experience with my grandmother's spirit about 25 years ago, that's actually what catapulted me out into actively investigating the paranormal. So I've been doing that for about 20 years. And so that's, pretty much it. And it's been a journey. I'm the founder and director of the San Diego Paranormal Research Society, California coordinator to the Ghost Research Society. And it's just been a great journey just working with people. And, collectively, I think collectively in this field, that's really what really gets us going and what enables us to be successful researchers. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
So you lived in Tucson. I never knew that.
Yeah, 4 years, absolutely, from 1997 to 2001.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the U of A was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Did you go to the U of A or?
Yeah, I went to the U of A. Yeah,
Okay.
actually, yeah, I got my bachelor's from there, so.
Oh, very cool. So the heat of the summers out here. We're suffering that right now.
I know. It's like right now on my phone, it's 80 degrees here in San Diego, so I imagine what it is there, but I actually miss those monsoons. I loved them. So
Yeah,
I know they can be damaging, but I'm like a huge like weather girl. I love violent weather, so yeah.
Yeah, right now, well, Kira, she's actually in the Phoenix area, so she's even hotter than Tucson. But right now
What
it's
is
like
it now?
101. It's 101 in Tucson, so I can only imagine what it is in the Phoenix area.
Oh man, it's always hotter in Phoenix.
Let me take a look. I know 108.
Oh, that's brutal.
It was 110 earlier. I got in my car when I was coming out of work, and it said 109, and I was like,
"Oh man, yeah."
That's when you just kind of like your face like melts off as soon as you.
Right, I know. You take a shower and you're sweating like 2 minutes later, right?
Yeah, like opening the oven door. I know I had to do a couple errands today. And, I'm like, now I remember why I stay indoors because it's just so hot the minute you leave your house. It's just like oven door. And it's like, wow. And everyone's like, but it's a dry heat. And I'm like, yeah, it's like stepping into an oven.
I know. A lot of people prefer that. I prefer dry heat over humid heat, but still
Yeah, it's still hot. So, Nicole, every show I like to get to know our guest. And by doing that, we have this lovely little pink container with random questions. And I draw about 3 or 4 of them out.
Sounds good.
It's just kind of like a get to know you thing.
Sounds good.
So it's just random. I never know what I'm going to pick.
Hopefully we'll be surprised.
Okay. So this one's actually a 2-parter.
Okay.
The first part of it is, what would your dream vacation be?
Oh goodness, my dream. So my second home is the RMS Queen Mary. I've been researching the ship for about 20 years now, historically and paranormally. So my dream vacation would be to go to Scotland. That's where she was built. Go to Southampton, see a lot of the museums out there. So that would be my dream vacation, just to go out to Scotland, go out to Southampton, see where she actually, sailed from. She went from Southampton to New York City via Cherbourg, France. That was her North Atlantic route. So that would be my dream vacation.
So basically, follow the path that she took.
Pretty much. I've been to New York City, so we've covered that, but just
Yeah.
Southampton and Cherbourg, France, I would add in there as well.
Very cool. And the
Yeah.
second part of that is, what has been your favorite vacation that you've taken?
Oh my goodness. I've taken a lot. I mean, obviously we all have. Some of my it's hard to pick a favorite, but I would say some of my favorites have been to New York City. I love Manhattan, love the city. So my mom and I for several years would go out there for about a week in the summer and just do the whole tourist thing, stay right there in Times Square. So we did that several times. And then also Savannah, Georgia is another favorite of mine. And I about 15, 20 years ago went out there and would love to go back.
Oh, very cool. That's on
Yeah.
my to-do list. I would love to go there.
Oh, so yeah, they're both amazing. Savannah is just absolutely gorgeous, chock full of history. If you're a paranormal buff, that's the city for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely that. And I know, Kira, you're a history buff, so that would really probably be something you'd enjoy too.
You'd love
Yes,
it.
yes.
You'd love
Savannah,
it.
Georgia definitely has been on my, like, I wanna go. I just love traveling to begin with,
Yeah.
especially places that have any sort of history, so I was like, "I wanna go here, and here, and here,
Right?
and here." It's so hard. I'm like, "Dang it, I wish I had money, more
I
money."
know.
Uh, that yes, exactly. Me
That,
too. But
that
yeah, how
stupid
can
thing
you
called
like
money.
yeah, I know, right? How can you like not love history if you're investigating researching the paranormal? The two go hand
Mhm.
in hand. So,
Yes.
Yeah, and Kira is our historian on the team, and she
oh,
does an
great.
awesome job on it. So she loves doing that, and she will like research and research and research,
Mm,
and the things she comes up with, it'll shock me even. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, it's fun to go digging. That's for sure.
Yes, I always just love to be like, I'm just like, how, I guess, minute of a detail can I find? Like,
Yeah.
I've always just like challenged myself to, so I just go in and keep going and
Oh yeah.
see how far you can go. And
Right. Just you
it's a fun
open
like
one
logic.
door.
It's not a logic problem, but it's kind of like that where it's just like I'm imagining it's like the big tomb, like stuff like that, even though it's all online now.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, let's move on to our next little random question here. Dig, dig, dig. Here we go. All right, so this will probably get you thinking too. What is your favorite childhood memory?
Oh my goodness. That's a hard one because a lot of times I'm sure there are so many memories from childhood that I can't remember or I'll think about after I get off the show and be like, okay, I should have
I,
said
I
that.
have no idea.
Oh, this is a hard one. I man, so I grew up, so I was born in Huntington Beach, then moved out to Las Vegas when I was about between 1 and 2 years old, lived in Las Vegas until I was about 7. So I'll stick with Las Vegas, just I don't know why, I'll just do it. I would say when my grandparents would come out and visit us. So I forget how many times a year they would do that, but I would always look forward to them driving up in their Cadillac, running out of the house, giving them a hug, swimming in our backyard pool, just simple family stuff. But
Right.
yeah,
That's funny. Did all grandparents have a Cadillac? Because my grandpa did too.
right? I know. Yeah, he would lease them too. He had a white one and then a red one. They were the best part.
Is that a grandparent thing?
It must be. It must be. Oh man.
Yeah, because once you said that, I'm like, my grandpa drove one.
Right? I'm sure they drove like the same one too. I'm like,
Probably it was like the same make, model, everything the same.
yep, yep. That's
Yeah,
funny.
I was raised with my grandparents. Well, it was my mom's parents, my mom, and my aunt. So I remember my grandpa would take that Cadillac everywhere, and we would drive around everywhere in that thing.
Right?
So
Oh, yeah, I remember his white one with the red interior, and I was obsessed with that one. Yeah, it was a whole thing, but good
Yeah.
times.
And they're spacious too, unlike
They
cars now.
are, I know. My friend has a newer one, I think it's like a year old, and that thing's really spacious.
Oh, is it really? I haven't seen
Yeah,
any of the new ones, so
yeah, they're
yeah,
nice.
I just remember, I could lay down in that thing. You had plenty of trunk space. I mean,
The trunk was huge.
I know
My god.
you could put quite a bit in those trunks.
I know, it's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Now that kind of makes me wonder why they needed such huge trunk space.
I don't know, like, were their suitcases larger? I think they were a little bit in some
I
regards, like,
think
they're just
so.
more bulkier and whatnot.
I know they were a lot heavier to take around because they wouldn't have the wheels and stuff on them, so you
I
had to carry
know. Oh,
everything.
I know.
Yeah. I remember that the huge trunk because we would go shopping and you could fit everything in that. After you're putting all the groceries in and everything, you still had room for other stuff.
I know, it's crazy.
Nowadays, it's like I fill up. I have a Jeep Patriot. I
Oh,
fill that
cool.
up with groceries and there's no room for anything else in the trunk.
I know, right? I know. Honda Civic for me, and it's spacious, but yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah.
it fills up quick.
Yeah. All right. Our next little pink question. If you had a free concert ticket, which band or singer would you go see?
Oh gosh, this is hard to pick one. Oh. Oh my gosh, yeah. Ooh, this is hard. Oh, I don't know. That's a hard one because I like so many different bands. I I'm not really like a heavy metal person or anything, but I've always loved Metallica. So
Mhm.
they would definitely be on maybe the top 3. So,
Who would the other two be?
well, that's a hard, I don't know. The Beach Boys would be one. I haven't seen them because I love oldies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to think about the other one because my brain's kind of going like everywhere with that right now.
I
So
know. See, these questions really make you think.
I'll come up with something after the show and then I'll message you.
All right. We'll do one last pink one before moving on. And this one is, what was your dream career?
Oh, I initially wanted to, when I was younger, be a doctor just because there's a lot of people in my family that are in medicine. My mom, my dad, my aunt, my grandfather was a doctor here in San Diego. So I originally wanted to do that. Oh, I think if I had to like go back and do it again, I probably would maybe do something along the lines of being like a full-time travel blogger. So like travel around the world, blog about it, and do something like that.
Now, that would be a perfect job, being
Yeah,
able to travel and get paid for it. I would love that.
right, exactly.
That would be so
So
perfect. Yeah.
that's up there.
Don't blame you on that one at all because that really is
Yeah,
a
right.
good choice. I'm like,
Totally.
I'll go there and I'll write about it. Sure.
Just go to different cities, blog about it, just constant traveling. So that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. The only thing is I love to travel, but at the same time, coming home's a nice thing too.
Oh, absolutely. And I was just
It's
gonna
like as
say
soon as you
that.
get in
Yeah.
your bed and you have your own shower, it's like I am one that I want to travel. I want to travel so much, but every time I'm on a trip, no matter how much fun I'm having, no matter
Yeah.
how much I don't want to leave, just coming home to my animals and my own shower
Oh,
and my bed
absolutely.
is like nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's, yeah. And I was actually going to touch on that. It would be nice to just not every day of the month, but maybe like a week or 2 out of the month
Right. Yeah.
travel. Right. And, but I'm like, I'm a homebody as well. So I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you'd probably get tired of putting up with, all the travel stuff
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah. I know. It's
flight.
exhausting too. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. No matter how much fun you are having, it's tiring.
Yeah, because I've heard that from people that do travel,
Mhm.
for their jobs and stuff. It's like they just want a vacation at home.
Oh, yeah,
They're
totally.
like,
Some
I
people
just
do
want a
that.
week at home.
Yeah. They'll take vacations and be like, "Yeah, I'm taking a week off work. I'm just gonna stay at home." Hey, it's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes both ways. Those that
Yeah.
don't travel want to do it more, and those that do want to do it less, I guess. I
Yep.
guess it's that saying that grass isn't always greener on the other side type.
Oh, yes. Right. Isn't that so true? It is so true.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's funny though because like I said, I would love to travel and I would love to do that, but like I said, I know of people that do it all the time and they would just love to be able to stay at home. So
Yeah.
I think it's just so funny how we're all like wanting these things that we can't have.
Right, it is, and it's like, the West Coast, we wanna, like, I've talked to many people that wanna go to the East Coast, and then people on the East Coast wanna come out to the West Coast, so it is, the grass is,
Yep.
not always greener on the other side.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I still have a lot of family and friends in Ohio, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, and I tell them, during the winter, they're like so jealous, because they're like, oh, it's still, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever here. And it's like below zero back there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, but you don't want to put up with this during the summer.
I know, it's like a trade-off, I get it.
And so I'm like, I keep saying if I could be like one of those snowbirds, I would love to go back
Oh,
to Ohio
yeah.
during the summer and be out here during the winter. I would love to do that.
I think, well, a lot of Tucson I remember the snowbirds,
Hmm.
like, they would, leave or come and go, and yeah, I remember that when I lived there.
Yeah, it's from like I think it's September or October that they come
Yeah.
out here, and then they leave in like April or May.
Right, I think I remember that. There were quite a few of them that would actually come out.
Yeah, we always
So
tease about that because the traffic gets worse and
mhm.
it's a lot of older people, so it's slower traffic.
Oh, yeah, I remember those streets, good old Miracle
Yeah,
Mile and Speedway and
yeah,
yeah, good times.
yeah. But I mean, that's the perfect thing to do, though, And one of
Yeah.
the things that I miss about Ohio is they would have things going on like all the time during the summer.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
different festivals,
Yeah.
activities. In fact, they just had one that ended. I don't know if it was I think it was yesterday, called the Strawberry Festival.
Oh, interesting.
And it's like everything deals with strawberries. So they have
Oh, yeah.
rides themed to strawberries. They have like, every strawberry food you can think of.
Oh,
And,
fun.
and they do stuff like that, like almost on a weekly basis. There's
Oh, that's
always something
amazing.
going on.
Ohio's beautiful.
Yeah,
I've not
I miss
been, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, I miss it a lot, especially during the summer. During the winter, I can live without it, but
Yeah.
during the summer, yeah,
And I bet during the fall too, it's beautiful with all the leaves
yes, the
changing and
change of
stuff.
seasons that is
Oh,
something
yeah.
I do miss because we
Yeah.
don't get that out here.
Yeah, we don't here in San Diego. It's like a hint of it and that's it.
Yeah,
So,
we don't have the leaves that really change, and I remember being from Toledo. Um, we had the Buckeyes and stuff, and during the
yeah.
fall, all the Buckeyes would fall, all the leaves would change colors. We would have leaf piles, jump in them, get the
Oh,
people mad that
yes.
raked up all the leaves.
Right? That'd be so fun as a kid.
Yeah, but it was something that, we loved to do. And it was something that, I miss is seeing those, different colors. And
Oh, yeah.
as much as I hate the winter, I do miss some of the winter things, to be honest with you.
Oh, absolutely.
I like the
Absolutely.
snow on the ground. I just don't like the cold that goes with it. And I don't like the
Yeah.
ice that goes with it.
Exactly. Yeah, having to like get up and, scrape your driveway and yeah, get your car started, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember, because I lived there until I was 14 and then I went back and forth for the longest time.
Mm.
And I just remember, the ice build up on the cars and it would take you like 20 minutes just to get your car
Oh,
ready
I
to get all the
know. I
ice
mean,
off.
I
And,
know.
and
Yeah,
then
no thanks.
black ice on the road. That's
Oh,
the
Yeah.
that's
worst.
dangerous.
I was gonna
And
say, I was like,
Oh
that's the
yeah,
one thing
that's
I'd be so
uh-uh.
against.
No. No
yeah,
way.
I lived in the Kentucky, Tennessee area at one point in time, and we hit a patch of black ice and we ended up in a ditch.
Oh no, that's
Luckily,
not
we didn't,
fun.
flip or anything like that, but we did end up in a ditch, and that was scary. That was
I can
super scary.
imagine. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I can imagine. And then you guys does Ohio? I think it does get tornadoes and stuff out there too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we get
Yeah.
tornadoes. Luckily, I was never involved in any, but we would have like
Mhm.
the tornado warnings where you had to go down in your basement and things like
Yeah.
that. So, or like in school where you had to hide underneath your desk.
That's us here with earthquakes. We have to do that
I
here with
never
earthquakes.
understood the underneath your desk thing.
I know. It's like, really, is it really going to protect you? Well, maybe it can. I don't know.
I don't
Oh
know. I
man.
never got that. I don't know. I did see, which is really interesting and sad at the same time, but with everything, I mean, now they have practice, lockdowns and things like that, unfortunately.
Right.
And I did see on, I think it was TikTok, where someone had invented a bulletproof desk to
Oh.
where the kids could go underneath it and actually like shut it and it'd
Oh,
be bulletproof.
interesting.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
when was this? When did you see this? Was this recent?
it was like a couple days ago that I saw it. I
Oh.
just was scrolling and I saw
Yeah.
it and I was like, that's interesting. And I would assume that would protect you from other things too. I mean, if
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
bulletproof,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
you
check
know,
that out. That's actually a good idea.
yeah, I was like, that would be a good idea nowadays. Unfortunately, we need stuff like that. That's
I
sad to
know,
say.
it's so sad. It's so sad. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
But I saw that and I thought, well, that would make more sense of having people get under the desk
I
than just a
know.
regular desk.
Totally.
Like the desk that I had, I don't know if other schools, had different, but I mean, they were open all the way around. So
Or
I
the little
didn't really
square
see how they
ones.
would
Yeah.
protect us,
Yep,
except
I
from getting
remember
hit
those.
on the head. That would be it.
It's like, ah.
Yeah. I remember that so much because we had so many, of those tornado warning drills and stuff. Get under your desk or get in the basement or,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't miss
that's
that.
earthquakes for us. The schools have those as well. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I've been in California when there's been earthquakes. Not a big fan.
Oh, yeah, not a big fan. We just had a pretty large one a few weeks ago. It wasn't like, I forget what the magnitude was, but it was pretty, it jolted. It was about 45 seconds. Maybe not, no, maybe more like 20 seconds long. But yeah, that sucker jolted us.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
We, California is one of my favorite vacation spots. I hate the traffic. I don't know how you put up with the traffic.
We don't. We don't. Yeah, no, we don't. It's,
I'm like, every
yeah,
time I go there, it gives me anxiety. I'm like, I'm having to, do something. I'm like, I can't look at the traffic when my husband's driving. I'm like, nope, not
yeah,
looking.
it's
Something.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just one of those things you just have to put up with, or just try to drive at certain times where it's less. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's unavoidable. San Diego is getting really bad now. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy. So,
Yeah. We went over Memorial Day weekend. We were up in San Diego. And
oh, okay, cool.
yeah, we went to the zoo. And
Oh, fun.
then
Okay.
we went to the zoo on Saturday. And on Sunday, we decided to do downtown Disney. I didn't get to go to Disneyland this time, but I did go to downtown Disney. And we left early, like I want to say 8 a.m. And we didn't run into any traffic, and I was shocked. It was like smooth.
Yeah, that's good.
We actually got there in like the 2 hours or whatever it takes to get there from San Diego.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long without traffic. It's been
I
a
know.
while since I
Usually
made
we
it.
run into the traffic, and it's taking like 4 hours from San
Oh
Diego.
yeah, oh yeah. It shouldn't take that long. I've actually done it in like an hour and 20 without
Oh
traffic.
wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so about an hour and 20.
Yeah, I
It's been a
remember.
while since I've been there.
We try to go every year to Disneyland, and we
Oh, good
usually
for
stop
you.
in San Diego.
Hmm.
And I just know because we drive from the Tucson, we do the I-8 instead of going through
Yeah,
Phoenix.
yeah,
And I just know from up until San Diego, traffic is pretty good. And then we hit San Diego, and from San Diego to Anaheim, it's like stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. And it's
yeah.
like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's almost like we're used to it out here, but at the same time we're not. But
Yeah.
it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. The traffic. I'm just like, I love California. I love the scenery there. I'm a water person. I'm not a desert person.
Hmm.
So I love the water. I love the green. But that traffic kills me each and every time. I'm
Yeah.
always like, I take fidget toys, I take a book, anything to get my mind off the traffic.
Right. I know. Yeah. I'm used to driving it myself, so but yeah,
I
it's
think
more
I,
difficult when you're in the passenger seat for
yeah,
sure.
I drove it like once or twice. And I like blare the music and I try to get my concentration like and anxiety down. I just
Mhm.
It makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've been to San Diego so many times that I know how to get to places without getting on the freeway, so that's a nice thing.
That does help. If you know the side streets, it does help. Yeah.
Yep, I'm always like, take this street. Don't get on the freeway. Take this way.
Gotta know those side streets.
Yep, because I would much rather do that than to get on that freeway because those freeways scare me.
Mhm. I get it.
Kira's like shaking her head.
Yes, I was gonna say, but downtown Phoenix is like
It's
honestly
getting as
almost
bad
on
too.
par. It's getting so bad, and whenever I have to go from the downtown Phoenix area back home, I'm like white knuckling it. Like I'm so worried, especially because I have my new car, and I'm like, okay,
So
I'm
are
like
you like
freaking
right
out.
in Phoenix right now?
So my family lives in Mesa, so that's
Oh,
where
okay,
I'm at is
okay.
in
Yeah, yeah.
Mesa. But like my job, I have to go to downtown Phoenix sometimes, just where it is, and so
Yeah.
and do things in downtown Phoenix. So the
And I'm
traffic
sure
is
it's built up a lot more since, when I
oh
was out there.
oh
Same with
yes.
Tucson.
Phoenix
Yeah.
is huge. Tucson's also like pretty spread out and big.
Oh,
Probably a lot
yeah.
different the last time you've been there, except the
Oh,
roads are probably the
crazy.
same.
Mhm.
But the status of the roads are
Yeah, I
probably the
remember
same.
like the I-10 and
Yeah,
Picacho Peak and yeah, good stuff. Good
yeah.
memories.
Tucson, the traffic is starting to build up, but I know when we go to Phoenix, it's getting as bad as California. It really is. And there's so
Yeah.
many different freeways there. Tucson has
Oh,
I-10, the end. You
that's
know,
it. Yeah, I know. It's
yeah,
like exactly. That's it. Miracle Mile. That's not even a freeway, but yeah, I get it. It's yeah.
yeah, we have the one interstate and that's it. But up in Phoenix, you're running into loop
There's a whole
this and
bunch.
that, and
Yeah.
I-10, and all these other things, and oh my goodness, all the interconnections and intersections of the freeways. Yeah, I
Oh
get
yeah, we
nervous.
know that. We know that. San Diego and LA are like neck and neck with that.
Yeah, yeah, Phoenix is getting just as bad. I know.
Oh, I
Every
can
time I go
imagine.
up there, I'm like with my fidget toys too.
I'll just
Yeah.
play while someone else drives. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Close my eyes, whatever. My girls have gotten in a habit of they always have a book. They're always reading. I will take books too, but my problem is whenever my husband does hit the brake, I automatically will always look up, which does
Oh
not help the
yeah. I
situation.
get car sick if I read in the car. I don't know. I'm
Same.
just weird like that. I've always been like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, our co-lead investigator May, she gets car sick too.
Yeah,
She can't do that.
mm-mm,
Yeah.
can't do it. I try and no, even with the window down, still happens. So nope, no reading for me.
Yeah, I know. The second I start looking at things other than in front of me when I'm in the car, it's just like,
No,
mm-mm,
yeah,
no,
I get it.
no, no,
I
no.
get it. I know.
Okay, well, I wanted to let people know before we move on that there is a chat room. So if you want to ask any questions of any of us, you can feel free to go into that chat room. If you're putting comments on Facebook or what have you, we most likely won't see it. But if you're in the StreamYard chat room, Kira will see it.
Yep.
Again, I can't really move my neck, so I'm kind of limited on where
Oh
I'm.
yeah, I see a comment from Richard Johnson. Hello, hi Richard. So I guess Facebook is showing. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
good.
All
Yeah,
right, that's good. I didn't know that that would show. So,
yeah,
okay, I
I
guess
see
you
it.
can comment there.
Yeah, I see it. Anyways.
Okay, good. All right. So feel free to comment. We'll try to get to any questions that are asked. So feel free to join in. So now we're going to move to the paranormal questions.
Okay.
And then after we ask you a few questions, then we'll talk about some of the things that you need to talk about.
Sure. Sounds good.
So one of the first questions I have you had any experiences that made you question staying in the field? So anything
Oh,
that made
this,
you go, maybe I don't want to be in this field.
I'm not actually from a paranormal origin.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually never had an experience where I've actually asked myself, Nicole, do you really want to stay in the field? I mean, this is a passion of mine to research the paranormal and afterlife. So it's a huge passion. So that's literally what makes me stay in the field. If I had to say anything, and again, this wouldn't be enough for me to leave the field per se, is sometimes I get irritated with sometimes how the media portrays it, the
Oh, yes.
sensationalism of it, the ego that some people have. I feel that this field is best researched, approached with humility. I think that that goes a long way. So again, not a paranormal origin, but just
Right.
sometimes the ego, it's we shouldn't be competing with each other, right? We should be
Right.
collectively working together. So that's kind of how I would answer that question.
I definitely agree with you on the ego thing, and definitely agree with the way it's portrayed, especially on television.
Yeah,
I get so tired of hearing it's demonic, it's demonic. I'm like,
right.
no, stop. That aggravates me so bad because
I know.
I've been doing this for 12 years and
That's a long time.
yeah, I haven't really been exposed to anything demonic. Negative and grumpy, yeah, but not, that I would consider demonic.
Well,
You
and you
know,
make a good point with that because negative and malevolent should not be used interchangeably.
Mhm.
Malevolent is something even the living can be malevolent, right?
right.
But you
Yeah,
can encounter an entity that may have had a bad life or whatnot, who's maybe grumpy, like you said, or just
right,
unhappy and maybe is giving off that vibe, but don't equate that to demonic
right,
energy. So I
exactly.
get it. I get it.
Yeah, because I've definitely ran into especially the grumpy. I always
Mhm.
think the grumpy old men or whatever. It's like they
It
just have that
happens.
grumpy response, that grumpy attitude. But I mean, nothing to where I would yell demon. You
Oh,
know,
no. Yeah, me neither. I mean, and a lot of it too, I think, is the golden rule. Like what you put out, you get back. So if you're going to put
right,
out a nice, approachable, friendly vibe, well, then chances are you're going to get that back. At least it'll help with it.
right, exactly. Yeah, and I hate turning on TV programs, and that's like the first thing you hear is demonic presence, and I'm like, I roll my eyes each and every time, and I'm like, oh my goodness, no.
Yep. Fear sells, unfortunately. Fear does sell.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I love a good I mean, I'm a horror movie fan. I love horror movies, but it's like don't mix that in with
Yeah.
paranormal research. Kind of
Mhm.
my thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can't stand that. That's one thing. And then, there's so many people that do have that ego that, my evidence is better than yours.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no. Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's an example of that. It's
And
not a
it's like,
competition, guys. It's not
yeah,
a competition. We need to be working together.
right. And putting, the evidence together and, comparing notes
Mhm.
and, learning from each other,
That's
because
it. That's it.
someone could be getting evidence that you've gotten, but they know a little bit more about
Oh,
that type of
sure.
evidence. And so you can
Sure.
learn from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you never
Totally.
stop learning in this field. Never.
No, absolutely not. Never. That's the one thing is just every single time I go out or just in talking with people and even hearing their experiences, you're constantly learning and evolving. So
Yeah.
that's so true.
Yeah. And, the ego sometimes gets in the way, I think, for sure.
It does, unfortunately. You just have to work around it. Just
Oh,
do the best you can do.
yeah. So my next little question, and I kind of answer this in any way you can. Do you believe that spirits can communicate through dreams?
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. I have had experiences with that. And I will specifically talk about my cat, Kaylee. In fact, behind me, you can see two paintings that my aunt made of my cat, Max. He's the top one. And then Kaylee is the bottom painting. Litter mates that I adopted after the 2003 wildfires. So Max passed in 2016. Kaylee passed in December of 2021. And after her passing, I've had probably 26 to 27 dream visitations. Now, these aren't just regular dreams where we're processing our subconscious, whatnot. These are actual visitations. And you can tell when you have one. It's hard to describe it, but you
Mm-hmm.
can tell when you have one. You have this sense upon waking that there's no doubt that there was some sort of message exchanged. You feel just this peace, enveloping you, this like over this sense of love. And what's interesting is I don't know exactly, but I think what may be happening is in these dreams, and all of them are alike. They take place in the bedroom, actually, how the environment is when I'm asleep. So the light is off as I'm sleeping. It's off in the dream visitation, and it always commences when Kaylee, I'll feel her jump on my bed. I'll feel her like walk up to me. And then this is in the dream visitation. And I'll say to myself, okay, it's happening again. Kaylee's visiting me. I'll be able to pick her up sometimes. I'll be able to see her and feel her warmth. I can hear her purring. I just had one a few nights ago where she like laid on my chest and put her head against my cheek and she was looking at me. So the dreams are like the same environment every single time, and it's just the same sort of pattern. And I can't even tell you how much that's helped my grieving process. So to answer the question, absolutely. I think synchronicity and dream visitations are two of the gateways that we can really communicate with the other side.
That is just so sweet.
Yeah. Have you guys had dream visitations with departed loved ones?
Yeah. Well, not loved ones. I mean, I probably have with loved ones. But the one that I really, really remember was actually in New Mexico. We stayed at St.
Mm.
James Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
And
Lots of history there.
yeah, we stayed in the room to where the woman does not like women being in the room, only men. And I clearly remember having a very vivid dream of this woman that I had never seen before come up
Oh,
to me
wow.
and say, I don't want you in my room, get out. And as soon as that happened, I felt someone sit on the bed and wake me up.
Oh, that's interesting. Were you
Yeah.
able to match like her appearance in the dream to actual photos of her?
Unfortunately, not.
That would be interesting. I would want to look
Yeah.
into that to see because
Yeah.
I'm sure it was her, but
Yeah.
that would be really cool.
And it's so funny because the entire time, because I had my husband with me, and I was like downstairs talking to, I guess, the front desk about ghost stories.
Hmm.
And my husband was up in the room, unpacking type thing. And several times she like closed the door on him because she wanted him to stay in the room.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's fascinating right
Yeah.
there.
And Kira, I know you shook your head, yes.
Yes, I have two different people. When I was younger, so my dad's brother died when I was like 2.
Hmm.
Um, and I distinctly remember having like one dream with him in it, and it was weird because like I don't have any memories because I was barely 2 when he
Right.
passed. Um, but then I remember like waking up and it was like weird, and like my dog was like staring at the corner, like kind of like really out of character. I remember talking to my dad about it, and I was just telling him about the dream, and he's like, that's what he did whenever he visited the house or whatever. So it was just weird. Like it just kind of like lined up, and like he never talked to me about it. So kind of was just like, huh, that's strange. My dad died almost 9 years ago now, so I've had lots of dreams with my
Oh,
dad
wow.
over the years. Um, Starting with a lot of frequency, then it like kind of has dwindled down over time, but it's always like I said, it feels different rather than like a dream. It's not just me processing it. Like it just
Exactly.
has the thing and you
Yeah.
wake up and you're like, and it's like
Yeah.
I've
I know exactly how that is. I mean, and I think it just helps so much with grief.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I would love to have more visitation dreams, but I think my problem is I don't sleep well.
That could be a
I'm like,
reason.
yeah, I have a lot of waking up in the middle of the night, tossing, turning, so I don't really get into that deep sleep a lot. So I think that's part of the
Yeah, that's probably why.
yeah.
You
I'm
never
like,
know though. It may happen. You'll
yeah,
know. I mean,
maybe,
as you know, you'll know.
yeah. All right. So our next little green question is: what location is on your bucket list?
Oh gosh, there's several on my bucket list. Gettysburg is one. Was supposed to go last summer. I haven't been. I was supposed to go with the Ghost Research Society, so that's definitely on my bucket list first and foremost to pay my respects there. Uh, let's see. I would. Oh gosh, Tower of London probably would be up there as well. Even like the Roman Colosseum in Rome. There's so many. There's so many, but those are just a few that I can
Okay.
think of.
Yeah, there's always like huge bucket list, I think, especially when you're into like the history and,
Oh,
all that.
sure.
Because there's so many
Hmm.
different historical sites that you just want to go check them out. And I, I,
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I love museums and I love
Hmm.
historical things. So that is something that I love to go check out. We're actually next month. My husband found out I had never been here, but we're going to Lake Havasu.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and so I'm going to see the
Yeah.
London Bridge.
Fantastic. There you
So,
go.
yeah, he's all, "You've never been?" And I'm like, "I've been in Arizona all this time, and no, I've never. That's one of the cities I've never been to." So we're gonna go check out the London Bridge, and I know that
Oh,
there's like a
great.
museum there that talks about them bringing the London Bridge over and everything. So I'm probably gonna go check out that museum and everything.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
That'll
and
be a lot of fun.
I've heard that there's ghost stories relating to the London Bridge too.
Oh, I have too, actually. There's
Mhm.
something really interesting about bridges.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
just yeah, there's a lot out in San Diego has some, of course, Coronado and even the Balboa Bridge, but even in LA as well. So that should be interesting.
yeah, so I'm like, do I take my paranormal equipment with me?
Why
Yeah,
not?
as you're
Right? Why
crossing the
not?
bridge, you have
As
your
I'm
EMF
crossing the
meter going.
bridge.
Right, I know. I would like to do I know this would never I mean, this would never happen, of course, but the White House would be amazing.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that and, Disneyland, which, of course, will most likely
I
never
I
happen,
am
but
so with you on Disneyland. I've actually
yeah,
had paranormal experiences at Disneyland.
a lot of people have there's so many stories there.
Yes.
Can you
But there
share one of them? I wanna hear one of them,
yeah,
if you don't
there's
mind.
actually there's 2, and Disneyland, don't sue me because I love you and I
Oh,
go
yeah, oh, yeah,
every year.
ooh.
Uh,
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have asked that. No,
no,
it'll be fine.
I know that, people talk about it, but,
Oh, yeah.
they won't. I mean, I could just see me approaching them. "Can I investigate Disneyland? Can you keep the
No.
rides going too so I can"
God, that would be amazing to do. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh.
But one of them, I remember years and years ago, I was there at Christmas time.
Mm,
And you know how there's the firehouse and Walt's apartment is on top
yes.
of that firehouse?
Yeah.
Well, we were there and they had like a bunch of stuff set up for the Christmas. It was dying down because we were there at closing time. And I forget where everyone was in my family. They were checking out something or in the bathroom or something. And I decided to go check out the firehouse. The only person in there, there's no one else around. It's quiet. It's, kind of dark because it's closing time. And I'm in there and I'm looking at everything. And you know how you just get that feeling that you're not alone?
Oh, yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
I felt that. I felt like someone was like right there behind me. So I turned around expecting to see someone, but it was completely and totally empty. No one in there at all.
Oh,
It was just,
wow.
I did not feel alone at all. I could tell. I was like, there was someone in there with me. Now, I think that would be really cool if that was Walt himself, because I'm a
That's it
huge
could have
Disney.
been. It very maybe he senses your or sensed at that moment your love of Disney.
Yeah. I
Could
mean, I
be.
got on a Disney shirt right now.
Right, exactly.
I love
Oh,
Disney.
wow.
And it was definitely that feeling of not being alone. And
Yeah.
the other time, it was so funny because it was I think it was in February. It wasn't Valentine's Day weekend, but it was like a belated Valentine's Day gift. And my husband went ahead and he took me and we stayed on the Queen Mary. So we spent a night on the Queen Mary. And
Nice.
then we went to Disneyland for 2 days. So it was like a little getaway, just me and him. And so it was like a paranormal weekend, for the Queen Mary and then a fun thing at Disneyland. But we had a paranormal experience at Disneyland.
That's
So I'm
fantastic.
like, it was my paranormal weekend. We were on Big Thunder.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
Big Thunder had that huge crash to where lives were lost.
I know.
And right when you're going up like the first hill and you're in like the cave and there's like water and all that stuff. Well, I've heard rumors, and I didn't hear this until after I had the experience, but I've heard
Right.
that people see shadows in there all the time.
Mhm.
That's the one area the cast members hate checking because it's just so spooky. Well, we were in that area and going up the hill, I got tapped on my shoulder. And at first, I
Oh.
didn't think anything of it. I thought, well, someone's probably going to hold on and they accidentally hit my shoulder.
Right, right.
I didn't think anything of it. I didn't turn around, nothing like that. But then I got like a major, like a couple taps. So I
Oh,
was like, okay, they're trying to get my attention. Maybe they dropped something. Maybe I dropped something. I don't know. So I went to turn around to look. But for those who know Big Thunder, you have carts of two seats, and then there's like this much space or so.
right. Exactly.
I was in the last seat, so there was no way anyone could touch me.
Oh,
Oh
that's
wow.
yeah.
So I
That's
turned around looking confused, and my husband looked at me at the exact same time, and he goes, "Let me guess, you just got touched." And I looked at him, going, "How do you know?" He's all, "Because I did too on the top of my head."
and and see, you wouldn't have even then you. Oh wow.
Yeah. So we both got touched going up that hill, and there's no one near us.
Too
There's no.
bad the picture wasn't taken at that point, and then
I
you
know.
go in
Oh,
there and you're like,
goodness.
"Whoa, there's something there!" Oh my god, that's phenomenal. I can't really say I've had any experiences at Disneyland. However, when I was young, now we're talking 5, 6 years old, I went to America Sings, which was in
Okay.
the old Carousel of
Right.
Progress.
Right.
As we know, there was a tragic death there of a teenage girl. I'm not going to say her name, just out of respect for the
Right.
family. But that time that I was in there as a young child, I didn't obviously know anything about this tragedy that occurred in the 70s. But I felt as a child, I wanted to get out of there. I felt like just this impending doom sense. So I don't know
Mhm.
what that was. I mean, was I maybe tapping into maybe it had something had happened there? I don't know, but it was just that's the one experience that I've had there that may fall along that
Right.
paranormal line. But yeah, that was such a
Yeah,
yeah,
that building actually really isn't being used for much right now either. I think
not
they do like a
mm-mm,
meet and greet, and they use the top as like a
mhm,
fireworks viewing thing, but they
right,
don't have
right.
anything in that building now.
I know. That was a
Sad.
cute program, though. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed the America Sings. That was really cute. They have it actually. You can see it on YouTube now.
Yeah, I
Someone
love that.
recorded it,
Find
right?
like all the old Disney things on
I
YouTube.
know. It's so fun.
I know, I was like showing some of my girls some of the old stuff. In fact, we were going through old pictures and just, seeing old pictures of Disneyland hotel and stuff. They were like, "Where's this?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "That was at the hotel." And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
I know. Oh,
yeah, it's
man.
gone through so many
It
changes."
really
And
has.
I think with Disneyland and any amusement park, you're gonna have hauntings because so many people enjoyed their time there.
Totally.
They
Totally.
want to go back. And of course, you have people that are always trying to spread ashes at these
Yeah.
places
Oh,
too.
I know. I know.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I always find it funny. I'm like, yeah, you do realize your family's just getting vacuumed up, right?
exactly. I know.
And you're going to get kicked out of the park if you get
That's
caught. But
exactly it. I know they try to do it discreetly, but still,
I'm like, they always say it's on the water rides, but I'm just like, it's gonna get filtered out
it's
so
gonna get
fast.
filtered out. Exactly,
uh,
because they do. They filter that water. Oh my gosh.
yeah, I always say that maybe, because people are always trying to do this, maybe they should set aside an area that they allow just, a couple sprinkles or something, not like the whole ashes, of course, because that would get
Right.
over, that would, be a little too much, but just like a little area where you can, maybe honor them with a couple sprinkles or something,
Yeah.
you know.
Definitely.
I think
Definitely.
that would be good, because I always tease, yeah, I want to go to Disneyland, take my ashes there, but I'm like, my family would get kicked out, and I don't want that. But
Yeah. No, I know, and I'm sure those people. I don't know if they get kicked out permanently or what the deal is, but
I don't know.
yeah,
I just know
I don't
it's
want to be one of those
not
people.
allowed. And I think people do that at every, amusement park,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, because
Yeah.
I was raised going to Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio.
Oh yeah.
I know people, would go there year after year. So I'm sure, there's some people that are like, take my ashes to Lake Erie or Cedar Point or, wherever. You can
Yeah.
probably do it at Lake Erie, I would imagine. I don't know.
Yosemite gets it a lot out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. I have my mom's ashes. I honestly don't know what to do with them. They're in a memorial area, but I'm like, I would like to go back to Toledo, but I don't know if this would be allowed, and I don't know who I'd have to talk to. But my grandma and my grandpa are buried together,
Oh,
and
nice.
my mom had gotten permission for my aunt because she was cremated. So she had gotten permission for my aunt's ashes to be buried with my grandma and my grandpa.
Hmm.
So that's everyone I was raised with. So I was like, it'd be nice to kind of put my mom there too, but I don't know how my mom managed to do that for my aunt because it's like a military and military wife
Oh,
cemetery.
yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
true.
how I don't know how she got the permission for my aunt Sue. I guess maybe because she was cremated, so they allowed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah, I know there's like specific rules and stuff with that.
Yeah, because
That's
my
cool that she's obviously really endearing that she's with you, though.
yeah,
That's
I
cool.
definitely like that, but at the same time, I kind of feel bad because I'm like, after I'm gone, I mean, sure, one of my daughters will take the ashes, but after that, where are they going to end up?
Yeah,
After so many generations, where are they going to end up?
I know. You have to
And
think
so
about it.
it kind of makes you wonder. Like my husband, we were talking about it, and he's all, well, yeah, let's get cremated because that's cheaper. But he even said, what will become of our ashes? So we were thinking, well, just get a plot for the ashes because at least that would be cheaper or something. But
Right.
that's just something that, you got to wonder, years and years from now, what's going
You
to happen.
do. I know. It is. Yeah. It's like, don't
And
want to
that's,
think about it now, but
yeah,
yet,
because that's something more recent. Back in the day, nobody really got cremated. That's
no.
something that's just
Hmm.
become the latest trend. So
Yeah,
you got to kind of
absolutely.
wonder. And I guess they
Yeah. I
have
mean,
those
it's,
things to where you can become a tree or something.
That's what I wanted
oh,
to be.
yeah. Yeah. There
Yeah.
are kind of, yeah, I've heard that too. Well, you just have
So
to think about it but hopefully not now. It's like, no,
yeah, yeah.
you still have
Yeah,
many
yeah.
years, you know?
Sometime soon, but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where you kind of have to, wonder like 3 generations from now, am I just going to end up in like an old backyard somewhere? They're just going to like sprinkle me wherever. I don't know.
You're gonna end up where you're meant to end up.
I
That's
hope
just
so.
yeah.
Disney.
Think
No.
that's how you
Maybe by then Disneyland will allow it. Who
there
knows?
you go, right? Oh, by then, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe the rules will change a little
Maybe
bit.
the rules will change. Okay, let's do this one here. What paranormal experience would you love to have that you haven't already? So, is there anything that you would love to experience in the paranormal world that you haven't?
In terms of like personal encounters, like more like subjective experiences or like captured
Any of the above.
evidence. That's a hard, I mean, I can't
Is
think
there
of
just something
anything.
that you would love to have happen that you haven't? Like that wow moment that you're waiting for, I guess.
Well, I always like when you can have, and I've had many of these, but I always like when you can have a personal encounter that's backed up by, maybe an EVP or some
Hmm.
sort of environmental monitoring spike of something or a photograph. I think it would be amazing to have a personal encounter that is backed up by a photograph as well as a really profound audio capture and maybe something environmental. So all four of those put together. That would
That
be
would,
cool.
yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I love it when can have something that would back you up.
Yeah.
Because then I mean, I'm sure still people would argue, no, that's not paranormal. But I mean, the more evidence you have, the better it is,
Oh,
definitely.
sure. Yeah. I mean, even personal experiences, all of those go in. We count those. They
Hmm.
all end up going in the case report. It's interesting to see how they play out, if they're similar to other people's experiences. Because I like finding when people can have an experience that matches what other people have experienced, but yet it's like you see this theme developing. I love when
Right.
you can uncover that.
Or yeah, that's one of the things that with my team, I tell them, one of the things I don't like presenting personal experiences to a client unless we have more than one person that experienced it or some type
Right.
of backup to prove it, because otherwise you are in the dark, you are surrounded by who knows what. I don't want
Right.
to come
Yeah.
to a conclusion that it's paranormal, but I
Yeah.
always say let's make notes of it and compare afterwards. And like sometimes we'll all see something, and what we'll do is we'll go to someone that didn't see it and compare notes to see if it lined up.
Absolutely. It's like, look, I call it like connecting, if you can connect the pieces of the puzzle,
Hmm.
you know, it's
Yeah,
it's
connect the
it's
dots, so to say.
connect the dots. Yes.
All
So,
right. So the last screen question we're going to do
all
tonight
right.
is, what has been your favorite location?
Oh, I'm sure many know this already. I will say that every location I've gone to has been amazing. Different experiences, different learning journeys, things of that nature. So my team had about 10 years at the Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, where we did private investigations there, as well as paranormal tours every month. But I will have to say, first and foremost, because very near and dear to my heart, is of course the RMS Queen Mary. Have to say it. So
Yeah, I love the Queen Mary.
yeah,
Um,
she's very special. I was just there for a book signing on Friday, so it was a lot of fun.
oh, how cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. I'm trying to think of how many times. I think I want to say 3 times I've been on the
Mm,
ship. One time we did like the tours that they do.
yeah. Hmm.
And we did like I know it's not called the ghost tour, but we did one of the tours that took you down to, they take you to like the pool area, and then they take you down below to
How
where,
long was it? Was it the hour one? That's Haunted Encounters. You might have done the Paranormal Ship Walk, which is like more like 2.5 hours.
I'm trying to remember.
That's like really, they're both really good tours.
Yeah, I think we did like a combo pack, so I think maybe I did both of them.
Oh, cool. That's good.
Um, I know that when we went down to the one like area to where they say that the ship had hit and people had died in that area.
Yeah, the Curacao
Yeah.
disaster. Yeah.
I remember because we were with a group, but I was like right after the tour guide. And I remember walking down there, and the group got held behind for some reason. So the tour guide went down there, turned around to wait for everyone to come in. And so I was facing him, and I saw someone walking in that area. And
Okay.
so I had asked, I was like, is there anyone that's supposed to be down back in that area? And he goes, no, we're the only ones down here. And I told him what I saw, and he goes, yeah, that happens all the time. That's one of the ghosts.
Yeah, that area too. A lot of people will hear like phantom residual screams, and we think it's just a residual phenomenon of that disaster because over 300 British sailors died from
Right.
that during World War II. So that is a hot spot area.
Yeah, I found it so fascinating. So we went there for that tour one time. The other time we just went on to just kind of look around a little bit. We didn't do any tours or anything. I think we ate there. We ate at the restaurant on the ship, I think.
Oh, cool.
And then the third time is when we actually spent the night. And we went there not knowing that there's a paranormal thing going on that weekend.
Hmm.
So there's a bunch of people, doing paranormal stuff. So my husband and I decided, oh, we're going to go to bed. We'll set our alarm for like 2 a.m. when everyone else is like packing up, and we'll go out and explore. And so we did. And I remember we were the only ones up. We were the only ones that went on the deck. And I remember seeing a full body apparition just walk across the deck and disappear.
Can you describe what do you remember what exactly you saw?
It looked like uniform. It was like a side view, so I didn't like
Okay.
see a face or anything, but it definitely looked like a military uniform, like an old sailor type uniform.
Yeah, that's common.
And I just remember the area it went to. I ran to that area to see if it was a person, but the area it went to was like there's nothing there that they
Do you remember
weren't.
what deck what you were on?
It was, I think, the main deck.
So
Like
M deck. Okay.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's the top level hotel deck. Yeah,
Yeah,
there.
I
I mean,
remember
each deck
that.
has its own experience. I mean, it's the whole ship is fair game for an experience.
Yeah, I
That's
just
so cool, though.
Yeah, and I remember I always loved walking around the Queen Mary, and I
Oh
just
yeah,
found it so interesting. And there's like that one area, I can't remember what it's called, but it's kind of like the museum where you can walk through it, and there's like old luggage and all that stuff there, and you can look at the old equipment and all that stuff that they used and all that stuff.
yeah. There's different. They change areas around. That might have been like the old Well, the Queen Mary story now is on A deck, but there's officers' quarters, exhibits right under the bridge. I don't know if that's where you were, but there's
Right.
different areas now because they're always adding new spaces and kind of changing things up. So
Yeah. I just remember walking through like whatever they would consider the museum area, and I definitely felt like we weren't alone the whole time when we were
Oh
walking
yeah.
through there. And you definitely felt like you were being followed and watched the entire time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some of my best experiences and best audio captures, even photographs, have come from the Queen Mary. So yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely she's number one in my book. So
Well, now I would love to talk to you more about what it is that you do. And I know Kira is going to really want to step in on this because she loves the history and the research. So I'm sure she'll love talking to you about all this stuff.
Mhm.
I know you've written several books, but I do have one with me right now, which,
yes, it's so
oh,
I'm so glad you're in it. Yeah, that was a fun
yes.
book to write. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a couple questions about this. And yes, I was honored to
You're
be
in it.
featured in
Yes.
this. How difficult was that for you guys to put together, and what made you want to put that together?
It actually this was Marie D. Jones's idea. So this was her book idea, and she approached me and said, "Hey, do you want to co-write this with me?" I said, "Yeah." And then she writes screenplays with Denise, and so she's like, so we brought Denise on, and the three of us, have such a great mojo together, and it wasn't hard, I would say, finding, because there were so many other ladies we could feature, and we might do a part two. I don't know. It'll depend. So it was just a matter of getting everyone's submissions in and then just putting those together. But we felt bad because there were so many other women we could feature. So we just kind of first come, first serve, and that's how we went about it. But it's, I think, really neat to highlight women in the field in a book like that. And what's interesting is that there are so many women from different branches of the paranormal,
Right.
ufology and cryptozoology and psychic mediums, ghost researchers, psi phenomena researchers, you name it. And so we had a really good time.
Yeah. And I loved that you did this. I'm going to kind of try to show the whole here,
Yes.
everyone. And the reason why I love this and I am so honored to be a part of it
Oh,
is
sure. Yeah,
quite,
we're happy to have you.
yeah, quite honestly, I think that women do kind of get overlooked in this field.
They do.
You
They
know,
do.
and,
And
and,
yeah,
and
they
so I,
do.
I love that, you brought together all these women for such an incredible book. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, and we also talked a little bit too, at the beginning. Denise wrote some articles, Marie did, I did as well, about, women and how they research the paranormal. We talked a little bit about like their, innate intuition and how their approaches may be similar to men and maybe differ from men, things like that. So we didn't want to come across like over portraying women, but we wanted to highlight their accomplishments in it. So
Right. And I think, like I said, I know women tend to get, overlooked in this field. And
sure.
I think the one thing I love about women in this field is the fact that we do have more of a sensitivity, not necessarily
Oh,
to the
sure.
paranormal, but to the human race.
Oh, absolutely,
We have that
absolutely. Yeah.
mother, and I
Mhm.
think that attracts a lot of the spirits, especially the children's spirits. I
Oh,
really think that
absolutely.
they're more attracted
Mhm.
and more likely to communicate with women because of that. I
Oh,
know
I
there's been
agree.
so many times that I've had connections because of being a mom and just
Sure.
talking about my children. And I get so many interactions from the children's spirits because of that.
Oh,
And,
sure.
and they
Yeah,
feel more relaxed
absolutely.
approaching women. And it's nothing against men, it's just in general, women do tend to get approached more in life and in the paranormal field, for people that feel like, they need to talk to someone or they need help. Women are the first that you look to for
Oh,
things like that.
absolutely, absolutely, and even I think it was Denise's article, she touched on a little bit of the science behind that and the psychology behind women's intuition. It's more at the beginning of the book before all the women's submissions, and so, yeah, it came together really nicely.
Yeah. And I know this is only one of the mini books. You've done a lot of books. And I'm sure I'm going to let kind of Kira ask you some questions because I know a lot of your stuff is research. And I know Kira is a huge person on research and history. So I'm sure
Oh, it's
she
so
has
fun.
a lot to talk to you about. So I'm going to kind of let her do some speaking now.
Sure.
Okay. Just kind of to start off, kind of like what is like, I don't know, your favorite like history factor telling you about like something in San Diego or a case you've been on or something that you found that's like really interesting?
Yeah, San Diego, I mean, like many cities have their history, but San Diego has such a multi-layered history. I mean, you
Mhm.
have the Native American history, you have our Mexican period, our Rancho period, you have Old Town San Diego, and then the building of Newtown San Diego, which eventually became downtown San Diego. So I like all the different layers of the history when it concerns San Diego. Even we're a huge military city too. So that's what I love about San Diego. A lot of the historic sites that we've done investigations on, it's hard to pick a favorite, but some of mine would be probably the Star of India and Berkeley ferry boat at the Maritime Museum of San Diego, which actually has one of the largest maritime libraries in the world.
Oh, wow.
So, and then of course, Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, which I mentioned before, just
Mhm.
because we had like a 10-year tenure there. So we really got, it was more like a case study to where we got
Mhm.
to, really delve into the history of the site, but also know a little bit more about the paranormal just because we were there every month. So, yeah.
And also, I feel like Tucson's very similar as far as like having so many layers of
Yeah.
history, and that's also two
Mhm.
songs I really enjoy because like I
Mhm.
can look at like the Native American thing, but then like the Presidio, right, for
Right.
Tucson, like all of that, and that's what I find like so interesting about
And they
that.
all like connect with each other too. They build upon each other,
Definitely,
which
it's
I
always
find so fascinating.
yeah. I know you kind of talked about kind of using that Rancho as kind of like a research experiment, kind of like case study. What are some of like the experiments I guess that you did there or stuff like that?
Yeah, so we like on our tours, they were once a month, and so they were 2 hours in length, and we would do two per night. I think it was like 7 to 9, and then 7:30 to 9:30, and then
Mhm.
uh, I think it was 11 to 1 or something like that. I'm forgetting because it's been COVID. It closed during COVID and whatnot, but we would take like groups of about 10 to 13 people in. We would do like a little presentation at the beginning, just talking a little bit about the team and kind of like how we approach investigating the paranormal. Talked a little bit about some of the equipment we were using that night. And then we would take people in through the rooms and kind of approach it like a paranormal investigation, even though it was a tour.
Mhm.
We would do like a divining rod session in the kitchen. Then we would take people into the major domo room and we would do like an ITC experiment. Then we would go into like the grand sala, also known, it had several names, also known as like the music room, and we would do like a collective EVP session. We had cameras up there, laser grids, things of that nature, but everyone got to go in all the rooms. So it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, we did our own private investigations there
Mhm.
just for a few hours. We probably did over the 10 years we were there. I can't count. But interestingly, ITC for some reason was very successful there. And I know that that can be very subjective just because of the nature of it. But we had some incredible, incredible captures on ITC there.
And
So,
would you explain what that is for those that may not know who are listening?
sure. So, ITC, instrumental transcommunication, I consider it like a cousin to EVP, right? It's more real time communication with spirits. You can use various devices like the Ghost Box, Frank's Box, even AM, FM radio hacks that scan the AM and FM bands of that radio at a very high frequency. So it's thought that energies can use the electronic frequency of those devices and form words or phrases. So we used like the PSB 7, PSB 11 devices that scan, as well as old like Radio Shack hack devices that would do the same thing. And so what we would look for are are the responses historically relevant, meaning were they did they correlate to what we were talking about? Did they correlate to the history? Were they very clear, meaning that you're not straining your ears and listening over and over and over and getting like, having this pareidolia sort of thing? So that's what we would look for. And what's interesting is we would, over the months, the same types of voices would come through, almost identifying themselves as actual previous owners of the site.
Oh, wow.
So very interesting there. Beautiful, beautiful site. It was an old land rancho that was built in 1850. It went through various owners. City of Vista bought it in 1989. They have weddings there. They have like I think it's fourth grade school programs. It's beautiful, beautiful site.
Yeah, awesome. And then how does kind of your history research play into like your investigating?
Oh yeah, I mean, as you guys know, you really can't approach the paranormal without having a respect for history. So, and I know some people are different in terms of they don't really want to know the history before they go in. Some do prefer it. I'm one of these that likes to have a, a general understanding just because for, discussion purposes and questions and whatnot. But we do a lot of site research. So the history of the land or the history of that site. Sometimes, as you know, you can even do like archaeological, geological research. Sometimes genealogical research can help, but it plays a role because it really gives you an idea of and a respect for that land, for that site's history. So going in there and knowing that, I think in a way that the intelligent energies know, or if you're kind of portraying that you know a lot about that site, I think the intelligent energies there will pick that up and almost respect you more for it, and in a way want to communicate with you. So, but yeah, it's important. I love doing historical research. I love it. Archival, all of that good stuff.
I know. I always say it's like I wish I could have. I was a librarian instead.
Oh,
Sometimes,
I
like I wish I
know.
got a library degree, and so I
Oh, I
could go and
know.
or like be able to go to like the special collections and like look at all the old stuff. I was researching something in Tombstone for us, and I actually like set an appointment to go to the state archives in Tucson,
Right?
and
Yeah.
I was so excited. I was like looking at all the old things. I was like, I'm
And they
living out
pull
my
the
dream.
boxes out for you, and you got to wear the little gloves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was fantastic. I always dreamed of doing something like that, and so it
It's
was a
so
fun
much fun.
time.
And I know a lot of people think it's like so boring. To me, oh my gosh, it's like a kid in a candy store. It's like you want to uncover so much. It's
And it's
crazy.
just like this little like it's interesting. The littlest things you find, and it's like, oh, that
Hmm.
makes a lot of sense. Like later on with
Hmm.
things, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah, you never even know. I mean, we actually had, and I forget it. Oh, gosh, I'm forgetting exactly what it was, but one of the audio captures that we had captured at the Adobe, the response, we were able to verify it with historical archive research that we did at the Huntington Library, which was cool to
that's
be able to like
awesome,
correlate it and stuff. So,
perfect. And I
That's
guess my
always
just
cool when it matches up.
right? Oh yeah,
yeah, we've had one moment with that with something in Tucson where it's like
right? Yeah.
I found out this one section of this thing was a stables at one point, and then Becky was like, "That's why we've heard a horse there before," and it was
See,
just like,
makes
and you're
sense.
just like, "Wow, there we go."
Yeah, totally. I get it.
And then my last question I kind of just had for you is like, I always want to know cool resources or places I should check out. So, what are your favorite things to like check out when you're trying to do some historical research? Like, what websites or
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I like to do, obviously library. I know like for example in San Diego at our downtown library, we have the California room. It's on the ninth floor. That's
Mhm.
chock full of stuff. It's specific historical societies for certain
Mhm.
little towns in San Diego. Like for example, with the Adobe, it would be the Vista Historical Society. They
Mhm.
have a wealth of information. So don't definitely connect with your historical societies, your library, certain archive rooms that they have, and even getting into certain websites, like even national websites that may be helpful. Gosh, I'm blanking on a lot of what those are. I mean, they're specific depending on what you're researching, but
Mhm.
a certain national library type of resources as well. So there's like the California one. There's like the National Library too. Depending on like for example like RMS Queen Mary, where she was built, like University of Glasgow, right?
Mhm.
Scotland, University of Liverpool. They have everything from like old ship plans to deck plans, you name it. So just depending on like what you're researching and what type of site it is, I think that'll gear you into kind of where you need to go in terms of resources.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a
Thank you
lot of
so much
fun.
for that.
Sure. Well, you're aware of that. I'm sure you do all that. Like Tucson, I mean, it has, I mean, its own historical society, and I'm sure. What are some of the places that you use in Tucson to do a lot of your research? The U of A, actually, the University of Arizona has ghost stories, by the way. I
Yes.
never had any there when I was a student, but I've
I
heard
know,
some
I've read
stories.
about it. I remember one year when I went to school there, they did their little like ghost tour thing, and people
Yeah,
were like said the
yeah,
stories in front of like little buildings and stuff. And I've done
yeah.
research to that. I did like the special collections at U of A at their library, but since I don't live
Cool.
in Tucson anymore, I'm kind of stuck
You're
to
in, right, you're
online
in,
stuff right at the moment.
yeah.
But I know I use a lot of like the Chronicling America, like newspapers, things from the Library of Congress.
Newspapers, of course. Yeah.
And then something when I'm trying to get really into the weeds in a place, I like look at all like the business directories and phone books that we
Mhm.
have, and then I start putting in the address and see what business pops up for whatever. Because like just like the state Arizona like society historical stuff has like a handful of them.
Oh, yeah. That's good too. Yeah. Newspapers, New York Times is a good one. But there's so many.
And everything's at your fingertips nowadays, huh?
Right? I
Hmm.
know. And some of the
But there's
libraries will
nothing
have
like going
different
to the
sides.
place in person, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's interesting to do all this historical research and learn about it and then actually go to the site and see it for yourself.
Hmm.
It's a good connection there.
So, Nicole, before we wrap up for the night, this is the moment that I want you to be able to promote anything you have coming up, anything you're working on. Let our guests know what you're up to.
Sounds good. I hate talking about myself, so I'll keep this short. I'm working on a fourth Queen Mary book. I know that's crazy, right? I have other books in the queue as well. I do a lot of presentations. I have about like I think like 16 or 17 different presentations on different like paranormal themes and topics. So I have some more of those coming up, including one at the Point Loma Library about the RMS Queen Mary. Let's see. I'm returning my show, The Afterlife Chronicles. I debuted it in 2020 and then I went on hiatus. So I'm returning that in August. Really excited for that. And then I have another show called The Life Inspiration Project, and I'm not sure when I'm bringing that. It's probably going to be August or September ish. And then just yeah, that's pretty much it right now, and just investigations and so forth. So
Very cool. And where can people find your books?
So they're all pretty much online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, online retailers. My three Queen Mary ones are sold aboard the ship there in her gift stores. I think San Diego's Most Haunted I think is in some of the stores in Old Town, I believe. So pretty much like online retailers. My website, NicoleDStrickland.com as well. Pretty much it.
Okay. And do you know when you said you're bringing back your show in August? Where will people be
Yeah,
able to find that at?
so it is going to be a like this, right?
Okay.
So it'll be a video, and then of course the podcast. I use Spreaker for that. So Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific, and then 9 Eastern. So it'll be for the Afterlife Chronicles, one show a week. So people can listen just on like YouTube, Facebook, some of my social channels, as well as the website, afterlifechronicles.com. Same thing with the Life Inspiration Project as well when I debut that.
Okay, great. And if anyone has any further questions for you or wants to look you up, where's the best place they can find you?
My website, NicoleDStrickland.com, but I'm on social media. So Facebook, my handle is at Nicole D. Strickland. Team's website, San Diego Paranormal Research.com. Our Facebook is as what is it? SDPRS. Let's see, Instagram. I'm author Nicole Strickland. I just joined TikTok. I did it. I took the plunge. That handle, I did. Okay, I took the plunge, and that is at Nicole D Strickland too. And then I don't use X a lot, but I need to get better at that. But that handle is SDPRS Nicole.
Yeah, there's so much social media wise.
It's
There's so much
ridiculous.
to
I
keep up on.
can't. I know, and yeah, drives me nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I try to have everything just so, I can be found everywhere. But in all honesty, the only ones I use all the time is Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Right? Yeah,
And that's it.
I
That I
know.
mean, all
Yeah,
the other ones just kind of sit there like, yeah, I'm there, but you'll hear from me like once in a blue moon.
I know, and I forgot to even mention YouTube. YouTube, I don't even use it. I mean, once I'll put my shows on there and stuff, but that's at Nicole D. Strickland as well. But it's crazy. It's just and I don't post incessantly. It's like there's so much.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of wish I could go back to the 90s where we didn't have any of this. But
It's good for promotion though. That's what
it
I
is
always
good. It is.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, it
that
is.
double-edged sword of like it's so much, but
Yeah.
then also connects people and you get eyes on stuff that you never would have gotten. Anyone would never know about you at all.
Yeah,
But then
totally.
it's a lot. I feel I don't like social media that much
No,
either.
I know.
So
Yeah, I actually don't like it at all. But I mean, like you said, it's a promotional tool. So
yeah. Yeah, I had like so many different Facebook pages that I was running, and I was just like, it's just too much.
it's
So I
too,
like
yeah.
combined the company with the team. I'm like, I just have Tucson
Why
Ghost
not?
Company and Society. I'm like, I'm not doing because in order to be seen, you have to keep it active and you have
Oh,
to keep it
yeah.
going. And to try to come up with, at least 3 posts a week on each page was just like, oh my
Oh, it's
gosh.
I know when you're super busy. I did the same thing. Like it would make sense if I have an individual page for the Afterlife Chronicles. I have a group page,
Yeah.
Afterlife Chronicles, and then an individual page for the Life Inspiration Project. But I just made one page and it's now at Nicole Strickland Podcast. That way, two of them can go on one page.
Yeah.
I
It's so much
whatever.
easier.
Yeah.
Because trying to do like 4 or 5 different pages, it's like a full-time job. And when you already have a full-time job.
And then you like, and then you stress out. Yeah, no thanks.
Yes, exactly. So I just started combining some stuff and getting rid of some
Yeah,
stuff because I'm like, it's too much to keep up on. It
good
really
for
is.
you. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's like nonstop trying to be on there and promote and do this and do that. And what I love about the Tucson Ghost Company and Society, combining them,
That's
Kira
smart.
gets to do the history part of it. So she has like 2 posts a week. And then, I do like 1 or 2 posts a week promoting the company. So
See?
the site keeps active between the both of us and it's not as stressful.
Right,
mhm.
and it makes sense to combine the 2 because
Yeah.
then you're, like, advertising both on one page. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Good
It's just
stuff.
so much easier. Yeah. And like
Yeah.
this podcast that we're doing right now, I will be sharing it to the page too.
Great.
I'm trying to set it up to where it automatically plays. I know it does on my Facebook, but I don't know if it does on our page. So
Huh.
I'm still trying to learn all this on how to get everything set up, but it's supposed
Yeah,
to share in
it
all the
should
locations.
go with StreamYard. It should go if you with the link. That's weird, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. I know it went to my page, but I didn't have time to check out the company page, so I'll have to look to see if it's there or not. If not, it'll be shared.
Right.
But
You could
yeah,
always share it after, I mean, in the
yeah,
meantime.
exactly.
And I'll
Yeah.
share it on mine too, this episode as well. This was
Yeah.
fun, gals. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're so thankful
Thank
that you took the
you.
Yeah.
time. I know Kira loves the research and the history, so I know she was excited to talk to you tonight. So
And I'd love
Mhm.
to have you on my show too. We'll have to if you guys want, I can send you more information and
oh
we
yeah,
can do that.
definitely.
Be fun,
Yeah,
right?
definitely love to
Reverse
do
it a little bit, right? You
that.
guys
Yes.
get to talk all
You know,
about your stuff. Yeah.
yeah, we love cross promoting, like you said. This is something we all should be working together on, not
Sure.
having little ego boost and nope, only
Mm-mm.
me.
Nope. Yeah, no thanks. But this was fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being on. And again, I know you have several books, but definitely want to promote your books. Go check them out. It was wonderful having you on the show. The next time I'm in San Diego, I'm going to have to look you up. And
Let me know. Yeah, we can like get lunch or, go to a site or something like that. That'd be fun.
yeah, I go there, probably like once a year, but I don't know. I get sidetracked, I guess.
Yeah, we'll go to like either Old Town or somewhere, even Hotel Del or something like that. So yeah, let me know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, Nicole, for being on. I
Thank
hope that
you.
you had a good time. I hope you have a
Yes.
great evening. Do you have any closing words for everyone?
Let's see. Just live your life to the fullest, people. Follow your heart, follow your passions. And thank you. You guys are wonderful.
Oh, so are you. Kira, any closing words?
Have a good night, everyone. Stay spooky.
There you go. I like it.
That's going to be your closing line from here on out, huh? Stay
Yes.
spooky. Well, I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight. I want to thank Nicole. She was wonderful. Kira, thank you for being my co-host. And to all the listeners, thanks for tuning in. You can find us at TucsonGhostCompany.com. Our Facebook and Instagram is Tucson Ghost Company and Society. I'm personally just on TikTok. I didn't do a whole company thing yet because I'm still trying to get enough videos for my personal TikTok. But I'm there at Becky McKitty Gydesen. And I just want to thank you all for tuning in. We will be back in a couple weeks because I only do them every other week, Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Until then, remember, you're never truly alone. Good night, everyone.
Good night.